Okay, today we're doing the test review for Chapter 4. As you see on the test review, it says the test may or may not be multiple choice. And I'll tell you right now, I've already worked on it, and there's only like 2 multiple choice in the whole test. Most of it is short answer, where you have to figure it out and put the answer. So you have to study this to know how the answer should be. You know, make sure you know how to do it. And this review is 94 problems long. Your answers are on the back. Okay? We'll probably only do about every other one. And you can do the other ones on your own and do it the same way we did. The test is going to be, I believe it was 50 questions long. So you have more on here than you actually need for studying. Okay, these two, how do you change a fraction notation into decimal? From fraction to decimal. Okay, see how you have it over 100 or over 10? Okay, this would be 88 is in your hundred. The last digit is in your hundredths place, so it's 88 over 100. Okay, this one, the 6 is in your tenths place. You're going to have 60, 606. Don't put a decimal in it. 606 tenths. Number 2 is C. See how your answer 2 is C? 606 tenths. Okay, this one, write as a decimal. 8 tenths. Where are you going to put an 8 in the tenths place, right? 8 is in your tenths place, so 0.8. Okay, 91 tenths. Okay, you could, on the 8 tenths, you could have put 8 divided by 10. The top number goes under the division. And you can see how 10 goes into 88 times. Same thing here. 91 divided by 10. So there is going to be a number in front of your decimal. 9 times 10 is 90. So see, it's 9.1, which is B. Okay, this part right here, 527 will be thousandths. If you count after the decimal, you have tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So you know the 527 will be after the decimal. So you have 98 in front of the decimal, and then 527. So that one is answer D, 98.527. Remember, you got to find these without having the answers to look at. 46 is in the hundredths place. That would be 32.46. Okay, which number is larger? You have a lot of these. Wait, isn't it 0.46? Tenths, hundredths. Okay, which number is larger? If you look in the tenths place, they both have 9s. So look in the hundredths place. One's a 7, one's a 0. This one is larger. I believe this one is the one that's still multiple choice on your test. Which one is larger? Okay, if you have a decimal and a fraction, you'll need to turn them both to decimals so you can see. This one's a decimal, 74 hundredths. That's tenths hundredths. Now you can tell which one's larger, right? Mm-hmm. By looking at this. So this one's larger. I'm going to let you do the rest of these on your own instead of going over the same thing over and over. We'll go to the next page. Round to the nearest tenth. underline which one is the 10th, and look, an arrow after that, you're looking at the 9. So what would this be to the nearest 10th?
0.8.
0.8, because this is 5 or bigger, you add 1 to the 7. Okay, 1,000 to the nearest 1, to the nearest 10. I'm going to let you do those on your own. Okay, those are all rounding. Add. On these, I need to see your carrying and stuff. On the add and subtract, make sure you show your work. If it's not big enough to do the work here, rewrite it and show your work. You're not going to be able to use a calculator. I want you to make sure and show me where you did your work. Don't tell me you did it in your head. Okay, 9 plus 2 is 11. Show where you carried it. 8 and 1 is 9. 5 plus 1 is 6. 8 plus 1 is 9. And then the 6. 696.91. You'll be giving the answer. You won't have ABCDs for that. Subtract, I want you to show when there's a subtraction, I want you to show how you borrowed. Make sure you line up your decimals. Okay? 0 minus 6, you need to borrow. 6 is too big, not big enough for 7, so you need to borrow again. Okay, 10 minus 6 is 4, 16 minus 7, 9, 2 minus 0,
2.
and 1 minus 0, 12.94. Okay? You have a couple more you can practice on. Actually, all of these are the same. These are written where you can do it in that spot if you want. These you need to go ahead and put them where the first number, put the 19.35 minus 14.781. Make sure and write it with the number on top and bottom. Don't do it sideways like this. Make sure you write it on top and bottom. If there's not enough numbers on top, add a 0. And then do your subtraction. Okay? And I'm going to let you do those on your own. If you have trouble with them, you can ask for help. Okay, number 24, solve. X plus 18.9 equals 27.6. Okay, when you're solving, look at the side where the X is. If it was added, what are you going to do? Subtract that number. So subtract on the side where your letter is, where the variable is. Subtract there. Make sure you write what you're doing, adding or subtracting. Put the operation right there. And then do your subtraction. Show your borrowing. And you need to borrow there. Okay, 16 minus 9?
7.
7. 16 minus 8?
8.
And then 1 minus 1, you don't have to do, right? So 8.7 is D. Okay, this one you're going to subtract 18.7. We're not going to do that one. You can do that on your own. Okay, below are the entries in a checkbook. Find the errors and report the correct final balance. What you need to do is just write next to it all the new balances. That's the only way you're going to find the error and to find the new balance. You're going to need to actually have every single line here, the answers. So either on this page or on the back of the page before, I'm going to have it one-sided so you can show calculations. You need to show all that subtraction and addition. Somewhere, you're not really going to have room right here, so you know you're going to need to do it on the page before or on the scratch paper. If you use a scratch paper, number them and make it where it's easy to find. Number it and do it right there. Number it and do it, right next to it. Don't just have a big old sheet of scratch paper, okay? Actually organize your scratch paper. And the answer to this one, I have no idea, but If you look at your answer sheet, it's C. So if you do all this subtraction and addition, you should come out to this answer, which I'm going to let you do on your own. Okay? We'll make it bigger so the video will show all these numbers, because the person at home watching it won't have all these numbers. And remember, if you're watching a video, you can pause it. Okay? So if you're watching it and you miss something or you need to go back, remember you can drag that bottom button and you can go back or you can go forward if it's too slow or too fast for you. Okay, now we have multiply. We have 51 times 0.1. So you know 1 times that's 51 times 1, this is 0.1. Okay, 1 times 51 is 51, and then put your decimal in there. There's only one number behind the decimal, so it's right here, 5.1. Okay? I'm going to let you do these other multiplications on your own. You can check your answers in the back. If you're at home watching it, you would be able to check your answers on the calculator. Okay. When you're multiplying by the decimals, you know the decimal's going to move back. If you have 10 times something, 60.800 times 10. Okay, you know the 0, go, and then you'll do 1 times 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 8, 1 times 0, 1 times 6. Okay, you have 3 numbers here. Behind the decimal, move back 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You either need to show this work to get 608 or 60.800 times 10. If you're timesing it by 10, you know you'll either be adding a 0 if there's no decimal showing. If there is a decimal, you're going to move it to the right, the number of decimals there are. So we're going to move it to the right 1 time. So all you have to do, if you don't show this word, you're going to show moving your decimal to the right. If you have this right here written down, all you got to do is show that you moved it 1 time. 60 point, let me move it up here. 60.800, just show that you moved it 1 time. And then give your answer. In the answer column, you'll have your answer over here, okay? If it's 0.00, you don't have to show the 0.00. Just show 608. Okay? Next page. Times 10, so you can just move your decimal, right? How many times are we going to move it?
3.
Times 10, you're going to move it 1 time. From where it's at, 0.162, 1 time. 1.62 is your answer. If it's times 10, we're going to move it 1 time, right? 0.0006996. We're just going to move it 1 time. So there's going to be 2 numbers behind the decimal. 0.006996. So that would be this answer right here. What if it was times 100? What if we had like 0.0078 times 100? How many times would you? You'd still move it. You'd still move it 2 times. You'd still move it to the right. You're looking at the next problem,
Yeah.
right? If it was times 100, you would move it 2 times, okay? So you go 1, 2. This is not actually on your test. There just wasn't one like that, but I want you to be ready in case there is one. Times 1,000, you would move it 3 times, right? Okay, if it's 2 zeros, move it twice. Okay, this one, what are we gonna do, Leah? 1 time to the left. So 62.88, you either show the multiplication or show how you moved it to the left. Times 0.1, you're going to move it to the left. So 6.288, which is B. This one, how many times you going to move it? Times 0.01. 2 times which way? To the left. So you have your number, 8793.71. You don't have to rewrite it if you don't want to. You could do it right here on the problem, show the 2 times. Okay, you could do it there, or you could rewrite it and show it here. 87.9371. 87.9371. Okay, convert from dollars to cents. Okay, let's look at 37 first. What would you say if you saw this as a price tag? You'd say 94 cents, right? Cost 94 cents. Okay, 94 cents. And how did you get 94? You moved the decimal 2 times. Okay? So for this one, you move it 2 times to get how many cents? So 7.18, moving it 2 times gives you 718 cents. So that would be A, 718 cents. 37 was 94 cents, which is D. Okay, what about cents to dollars? If something costed 7 cents, how would you write it with the dollar sign? 0.07. 28 cents?
0.28.
0.28. Okay? So one way you're moving the decimal to the right, and the other one you're moving it to the left. This one you would move it to the right. Cents to dollars, you're moving it to the left. It's always 2 times there. Okay, this is not going to be multiple choice either. People that walked in need a review. Here's a review. Okay. The total value of imports and exports for a certain country is this many $billion. It says to write it in standard notation. This is not multiple choice. You're going to have to be able to do this on your own. Okay? You have 333.7 billion. Okay, you need to know how many zeros a billion has. Okay, a million has 6 zeros. Right? 1,000 had 3, right? 1,000 has 3 zeros. Million has 6 zeros. Billion has 3 more. That's 9 zeros. So where this decimal is, you're going to put a comma. This is how many full billions you have. And there's going to be 9 places after that. It won't actually add 9 zeros. It's going to be like where you move your decimal 9 times. From it being here, you're going to have, let me write it where I have more room. 333.7. Okay, this is your full billions. This would be the millions. Here's your thousands, and then your hundreds. So see, you have 3, 6, 9 places after your full billions. So wherever the decimal is where you put a comma. Okay? So that would have been A. Okay? This is 848.6 million. 848.6 million. Okay, so put your comma where the decimal is. When you add 2 zeros, that would have just been thousands, right? So put a comma. You need 3 more zeros there. See how there's 6 behind where the decimal was. Okay, divide the following numbers. 1.5 divided by 5. Bring your decimal up into your answer. 5 into 15 is 3 above the 5, right? Okay, don't write it just 0.3, write 0.3 as your answer. 21.7. No, I'm sorry, 2.17 divided by 7. 7 into 21. Okay, you have, when you bring the decimal up, the 3 will be right above the 1, right? 7 into 21 is 3. Bring the 7 down. 7 into 7 is 1. Make sure you put the 0 in front of your decimal. Okay, 90.08. I'll let you do that division on your own. 90.8 divided by 4. Okay, divide this one. 23 divided by 4. 4 will go how many times into 23?
5.
5 times 4?
20.
20. So when you subtract, you have 3. Do not put 3/4. This, we're not doing fractions, we're doing decimals. So you need to add a 0, put your decimal in here, bring it up into your answer, add a 0, bring it down. 4 into 30?
7 times.
7 times 4 is 28. 2 left over. Don't do the 2/4. You still need to add zeros, bring it down. 4 into 20?
5.
5. 5 times 4 is 20. You have to keep doing it until it stops or starts repeating. Okay? So your answer would be 5.75. I did put a note on the test to make sure that you know not to put the remainder. I put write the decimal answer, not the remainder. So I did remind you to do that. If you divide by a decimal, okay, you get 6.75 divided by 0.09. First thing you have to do is what?
Move the decimal.
Yeah, move your decimal on the outside till it gets to the end. 2 times, so you have to do this 2 times. 1, 2. After you've moved it, bring it up to your answer. Right there. 9 into 67?
8.
7.
Oh, 7.
7 times 9,
63.
63. 7 minus 3 is 4. 9 into 45? 5. It came out even. You actually don't need the decimal at the end if it's at the end, so your answer is just 75 with no decimal. Okay? This one, make sure you put the first number, 25 divided by 0.05, put the 25 under your division sign. 25 divided by 0.05. And then you'll be moving the decimal on the outside. And if there's not anywhere to move it, you still have to move it and add your zeros. Put 2 zeros, bring your answer up, your decimal up to the answer. Okay, 5 into 25, 5 times. So is your answer 5?
No.
No, you need to put the zeros above this. So it's 500. Okay? Dividing by 10, you can either move the decimal back like we did on the other ones earlier, or you can show the division. Dividing by 10, remember you moved it back one time, so it's 56.50599. 56 point. So you either show that you moved it, or show the division of 10, dividing by 10. Top number goes under the division if you do the showing the division. Dividing by 100, how many times are we going to move it back?
2.
2 times. 1, 2. So if it starts with a decimal, what do?
0.
Put a 0 in front. Divide by 1,000, move it 3 times. Okay, how about dividing by 0.1? Let's do that division and see which direction you're going to be going here. 208.2793 divided by 0.1. Move it on the outside, move it on the inside. Okay? So really once you moved it, 1 divided into it is going to be this number, right? 1 into 2 is 2, 1 into 0, 1 into 8. So it's going to be where you just moved it 1 time. So if it has 0.01, you're moving it to the right 1 time. So either show it like this, where you have it on the outside and you move it on the inside, or just move it up here if you remember. If you don't remember, this is the best way to do it, to remind yourself what to do. Okay? So this one, if we move that one to the right 1 time, move this one to the right 1 time. So it'd be 1.81, right? Move it 1 time is 1.81. There's your answer. Okay, now 54. 13.72 equals 2.8 times t. How are you going to undo a multiplication?
Divide
By
5 with 2.8.
2.8. So we have 13.72 equals 2.8t. We're dividing both sides by the 2.8. Okay? You can't do this in your head. You need to show that division. So put the 13.72 divided by 2.8 and show how you moved your decimal and how you divided it in there. Okay? 28 is what you're dividing by now. You'll probably have to do 28 times a few numbers. So I should see a bunch of scratch where you did 28 times this, 28 times another number. You should have a lot of those on your scratch paper, okay? 28 won't go into 13. Let's see, it's almost 30. So multiples of 30 would be 30, 60, 90, 120. So 4, maybe 4 or 5s. So let's probably do the 4s and 5s, okay? 4 times 8, 32. 12, 13, 14, 15. That's too big. Let's go down to 3. 8 times 3.
24.
24. There's 6, 7, 8. That's not too big, right? So we'll do times 3 right here. 3 times 28.
How is 4 bigger?
84.
Isn't it? It's 11. It's
4
one
is
more.
bigger than 3.
It's not 4 though. I got for 28 times 4. That's 32. That 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10, 11.
8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, it's 4.
I'm sorry. I messed up there. So times 4 isn't too big, is it? Okay, so maybe we should try times 5. 28 times 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That one, yeah, definitely too big. So let's go to the 4 instead of 3. And when we subtracted this, we would have found out we had more than 28 left. Then I would have discovered my mistake if she hadn't have showed it to me before. Okay, 4 times 28 is 112. Okay, 7 minus 2 is 5, 3 minus 1 is 2. Bring the 2 down. Okay, we're going to need more than 5, aren't we? Let's get to about 8. Okay, let's jump up there a little bit. We can always come back down. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 6 is 22. So that's still not quite big enough. So 28 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. 18 plus 7 is 25. That was perfect, right?
Yeah.
252. So 4.9 times that will give you exactly what you need. So that's your answer is 4.9. Okay. On number 55, we have 100 times y. So what are you going to be doing right there? Dividing by 100. Dividing by 100 moves your decimal. So if you multiply it, it will move to the right. When you divide, it moves to the left. So 2 times to the left is 6.079. Okay. Now we're into the order of operations. And I'm sorry, but these aren't multiple choice either. Okay? So you're going to have to be very careful, make sure you get the right answer because it won't be there to choose from. Do parentheses first, right? So you do the subtraction first. And after you do the subtraction, then you will multiply. So you're going to have to show all that work. 96.3 minus 3.2. Subtract it and subtract it. So you get 93.1 for what was in the parentheses. And then you'll have to multiply it by 14. And then show all that work. Okay? I'm going to let you do all that work because you have the answer for it. And you'll be able to check your work. Okay. What is the answer to 56? The answer to 56 is A. So you should get 1303. 1,303.4. So after you do that multiplication, that's what you should get. Okay, let's do the next one. What are you going to do first?
Parentheses.
The parentheses first. So you do 7.17 minus 3.3. Okay, add a 0, make it the same length. 7 minus 0. You need to borrow. Show your borrowing. 11 minus 3, 8. 6 minus 3 is 3. So this you need to write right there. 3.87. Rewrite everything, okay? So that you don't forget to do part of it. Okay, you have an addition, you have a division, and a subtraction. What are you going to do next?
Division.
You'll do the division part next. Okay? So you'll take that number, the first number you have goes under your division sign. Divided by 3.87. Make sure you move your decimal on both of them. Okay, 387 will not go into this. It's probably going to be a pretty big number, so let's jump up to like 9 right away. 387 times 9. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8, 72 plus 6 is 78. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 7 is 34. So that's exact. That's great. So that turned that into a whole number. That part right there turned into 9. So rewrite all of it. So now you have 8.37 plus 9 minus 2.5. So if you add the 9 to the 8.37, you have 17.37. Then subtract 2.5. And I need to write that where I have room to write it somewhere here. 17.37 minus 2.5. Add your 0. 7 minus 0, 7. You need to borrow. Make sure you show your borrowing. 13 minus 5 is 8. 6 minus 2 is 4. Bring the 1 down. 14.87. And that answer is right here. You won't have that to, you're just going to have to write it in answer spot. Answer spot. The 14.87. That's A. 14.87. Let's go ahead and do these on scratch paper because it's hard to find room to do all of those. The order of operation ones, they actually take quite a bit of room, so it's better if you do those on separate paper. Let's look at this one, number 58. You have 11 divided by 0.08 minus 8 times 0.06 squared. Order of operations tells you to do parentheses. There's not any. Then exponents. So let's do that part first. 0.06, it's not times 2. Squared means times itself. So times 0.06. 6 times 6 is 36. You have 4 numbers behind your decimal. So move it back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have times 0.120 and then 36. Right? Rewrite everything. Okay. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We've done exponents, multiply and divide from left to right, right? You don't multiply and then divide. We're going to go left to right. This comes first. 11 divided by 0.08. 11 divided by 0.08. Move it twice. That adds 2 zeros to it, right? 8 into 11. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract, you have a 3. Bring 1 0 down. 8 into 30.
3.
3. 8 times 3, 24. Subtract, you have a 6. Bring a 0 down. 8 into 60. 7. 8 times 7, 56. Subtract, you have 4. Add a 0, bring it down. 8 into 40, 5. So it comes out. So you do have a decimal there. 137.5 minus 8 times 0.0036. What do we do next?
Multiply.
Yeah, don't subtract yet. Okay, 8 times 0.0036. Let's put the long number on top. 0.0036 times 8. 8 times 6, 48. 8 times 3, 24 and 4 is 28. And that's all the numbers you have to multiply there, so you need to move it back 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to put a 0 in front of it. So you have 0.0288. 0.0288 that you're subtracting from 137.5. So 137.5 minus 0 point, remember you have to line up those decimals. For add and subtract, you have to line them up. We need to add some zeros so we have something to subtract from. Make sure you have them good lined up. Okay, borrow, that makes it 10, 9, makes that 9. We borrowed, so this one is 4. 10 minus 8 is 2, 9 minus 8 is 1, 9 minus 2 is 7, 4 minus 0 is 4. So there's your answer right there. 137.4712. Okay, that should be one of the answers there, which is A. Okay? Now, the next one. Let's get a clean sheet of paper. You want to do all the order of operations, or do y'all want to try them on your own? Because y'all can do those on your own if you'd like.
We put the next one together.
Just one
Yeah.
more together, and then you could try that one on your own? Okay. Okay, let's do this one. 6 minus 0.8 squared divided by 4 plus 7.9 times 0.6. First thing is parentheses. So inside the parentheses, you've got a subtraction. You have to do that first. 6 minus 0.8. You have to do that first. So go 6 minus, if you're lining up decimals, you have to put 0.8 where you have the decimals lined up right there. Add a 0 behind the 6. Borrow. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 0 is 5. So 5.2 is what's going to be squared. Rewrite everything. Okay. Now, please excuse. You have exponents and square roots, so this part is next. So we need to square it. Don't multiply it by 2. Make sure you multiply it times itself for squaring it. Okay? Show your multiplication. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Put a 0. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 5, 25 plus 1 is 26. Keep them lined up so you don't make mistakes. 4, 0, 7, 2. We have 2 numbers behind our decimal here, so we need to move our decimal back 2 times. 1, 2. So it's 27.04 is what 5.2 squared is. 5.2 times 5.2 is 27.04. Rewrite the whole thing. Okay, now this is all we have left right there. What are we going to do next?
Divide.
Divide. The first multiplier divide you come to. So 27.04 divided by 4. 27.04 divided by 4. There's no decimals on the outside. Bring your decimal up. 4 into 27. 6 times 4. 24. Subtract. Bring a 0 down. 4 into 30. 6.
7.
7. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, subtract this 2, bring the 4 down. 4
6.
into 24.
6.
6 is 24, so it came out 6.76. We have that underlined, that's 6.76. Rewrite everything else. Okay, are we going to add next?
We're going to multiply.
Don't add till you've done all your multiply and divide. So multiply that next. 7.9 times 0.6. 7.9 times 0.6. 6 times 9, 54. 6 times 7, plus 5, 47. 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal. 1, 2. 4.74. Okay, rewrite all the numbers. Now you only have one addition. So we could write this number under here and add it. Line up your decimals for adding. 6 plus 4, 10, 14 and 1, 15, 11. Okay, so your answer could be written like this, or you could just write 11.5. Okay? If there's a 0 after, I'm sorry, it's not where you can see it, 11.50, or you could just write the 11.5. Okay? On the answer sheet here, the answer is 11.5. Okay, for the people watching the video that don't have the test, the next question is 6.1 squared times, bracket, and in parentheses, 7 minus 3.6, parentheses, divided by 0.04 plus 0.1, and then a bracket. Okay, that is going to be the next question, number 60. And that question should come out to, let me get the answer sheet here. Number 60 should be D. And D will be, sorry, the answer D is 3166.571. So the answer to that should be this answer right here. Okay, that's all of the order of operations. Number 61. 61 tells you Fred has taken 2 exams so far in his chemistry course. His scores so far are 73 and an 87. What is the average of these scores? You have 2 scores, you need the average. So you add the 73 and 87. That's 10, 160. Is this average 160?
No, let's divide it by 2.
Divide by 2 because there were 2 scores. If there were 3, what would you do?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 3. This one there was 2 scores, so you divide by 2. We're getting an average. So divide by 2, his average is an 80. Okay, that would be answer D. Okay, write a fraction in decimal notation. 3/8. What do we do with those numbers? To get a decimal, to divide, right? Okay. 3/8. Are we going to put the 8 or the 3 under here?
3.
The top number, the 3. 8 into 30. How many? 3. 3 is 24. Subtract 6. You need to add a 0. 8 into 60.
7.
7. 7 times 8? Oops. 55. 56 subtracted is 4. Add a 0. 8 into 40.
5.
5. 5 times 8 is 40. So 0.375, you need to put the 0 in front of it. 0.375 or 3/8. Okay, I'll let you do these on your own. You have 2/5. That should come out to 0.4. 8/5. That should come out to 1. And 3/5, which is 0.6. So do the division, and you should come up with that answer. 7.4 is 1 3/4, should come out to 1.75. Do the 7 under the division, divide by 4. 3/9. Okay, 3 goes under the division, divide by 9. 9 won't go into 3. 9 into 30? 3 times is 27 is 3. Another 30. It's going to keep repeating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Put a repeating sign over the 3. You only need to write the 3 once. You don't need to write 0.33 and then put it here. You just need to write it one time, because you see already that it's going to repeat. So just write it. Don't have to write the second one. Just write it one time. Okay, that one's a 0.3 repeating. 14/15 is going to have a repeating sign also. Okay, let's do 14 under your division sign. 15 into 14. About 9 maybe? Not into 14, I'm sorry. 15 into 140. Let's try 9. 9 times 5. 45. 9, that's 13, right? So 9 times here is 135. So there's 5. Bring a 0 down. 15 into 50. 15 times 3. 15 times 3 is 45. So 3 is 45. And then it's 5 and it's 50 again. So it's 3 again. It's keep being 3. You only put the line over the part that repeats. Only over the 3, not the 9 also. Okay? So it's only over the 3 part. Okay, 14/15 rounded to the nearest 10. Since we've already done that division, if it's one you've already done before, you don't have to redo the division again for that. Okay, this one, we've already done the division. We already know it's 0.93 repeating, right? Okay, now round it to the nearest 10th. Now looking at the 3, you just round it to 0.9. So that one is answer D. Round to the nearest 10th, you have 26 divided by 7. That one you haven't done before, so you need to divide it. 7 into 26. 3 times 7 is 21. 5. We need to put a decimal in there and add a 0. 7 into 50. 7 times 7 is 49. And that's 1. Add a 0. 7 into 10 is 1. Have we gone far enough with our division?
Yeah.
Yes.
We only have to round to the 10th, so we need to do one past it so we can round. Because we need to look at this other number. We're rounding to the 10th. Looking at the 1, we know we don't need to go up. So it's just 3.7. This one to the nearest hundredth. It says the 3/6 repeats, both of them. Write it a couple times, make sure you have enough to round with. 10th hundredth. We're rounding to this place. So you look at the 3 and you don't go up. So rounding it to the hundredth is just 0.36, right? Okay. This one you'll write 7878 so you can round to the hundredth. That one will go up, won't it?
Yeah.
0.7878. Hundredth is right there, so looking at the 7, you add 1 to this place.
79.
Right, 0.79. Okay, 72. At the opening night of a theater production, there are 371 women and 340 men. For this set of people, the ratio of women to the total. A ratio is a fraction, right? You're going to have women to the total. How many women were there? 371. How many total? We need to add it, right? 371 plus 340. 711. Okay. It wants you to find the requested ratio in decimal notation and round it to the nearest thousandth. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't just get the fraction. It says to put it as a decimal. So the top number goes under the division, the bottom number goes on the outside. And how far will you need to take it? The thousandth is 10, 100,000, so you need to take it 4 places. Okay? Unless it stops before that, okay? This one, has anybody done that yet? Divide 371, divide by 711. And what do you get? Three 71 divided by 711 by 2. Okay, when you do all this, you have 0.5218 something, okay? You don't have to go past this. You only have to go to the 8. Look at the 8, you know, round the 1 to a 2. So it's 0.522. Okay? That one would be letter D. That's not going to be multiple choice, so you have to come up with that number. Okay, gasoline mileage, rounded to the nearest 10th. What do you find gasoline mileage in? When you're doing miles and gallons. What's your gasoline mileage on your car? So many miles per gallon, right? So your answers will be in miles per gallon. Per means to divide. Miles per gallon. Miles divided by gallons. So take the miles, divide it by the gallons. 295 divided by 23. do that division. Divided by 23. That's pretty low, huh? It's not even 20 miles a gallon. 23 into 29 does 1 time. 23 into 65. 1, 2, maybe 3 times? 2 times.
4, yeah, 2.
2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Borrow, you have 15 minus 6 is 9. 19. See, that still wasn't too big. Okay. Point, what are we rounding to? The 10th. So that means we need to do 2 more places. Okay, bring our 0 down. 23 into 190. If it was 25, we go 4 times per 100, 8 times for 200, so it'll be under 8 probably. Let's do 23 times 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 14, 15, 16. Well, let's try 8. Maybe 8's not too many. 23 times 8 is 24, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 8's the right number. 8 times 23, 184. When you subtract, you get 6. Bring another 0 down. 23 into 60. 2 was 46, right? 2 times 23 is 46. And the subtraction is not really going to matter. That's as far as we had to go anyway, right? You can just make sure that you've got the right number. This is smaller. Okay, now we have 2 numbers plus our decimal. We're rounding to the 10th. So the 2 is not going to round up, is it? So it's 12.8 miles per gallon. Must be a big truck to get that bad of mileage. Okay, number 74, listed in the table, shows the total scores for students in a geometry class. Find the average of the scores and round to the nearest hundredth. We're not going to actually do this, but how are you going to find the average?
Total it and then divide it by.
Add them up,
And divide by 6.
divide by 6, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 scores. So you're going to add those scores up and divide by 6. Somebody tell me what the answer for 74 is. On the back.
D.
So it should be